Join me as we learn Chitas, the Chumash for Shabbos, Parashas Bamidbar, chapter 4, verse 1, the 7th Torah reading. Yesterday we learned about how they were redeemed, the firstborn for the Levites. Today we continue to see, once we already counted the Levites from 30 days old, now the Levites who are working in the Holy Temple, they were from the ages of 30 to 50. They were the ones strong enough to work in the Holy Temple, and tells us their tasks and how they went about it and the amount of people and which families did it in detail. And God spoke to Moshe and Aaron saying, take now a separate census from the clans of the people of Kahas, from amongst the Levi, according to their families and their fathers' houses. Rashi, Nasi Yisreish, Mana Mehem es Haruyin Lavedas Masam. Select from everybody else, you're going to take out the Kahas family, because they are now going to work for a specific job. They're going to be from 30 to 50. The youngest, under 30. Do not take them because he doesn't have the full strength. From here, the sages say, the 30, you get your full might. And once you hit 50, you start getting weaker from then on, and therefore he didn't work from then on. Verse 3. From 30 years old, till 50, whoever is eligible for the troop then is able to come work in the tent of meeting. Verse 4, this is going to be the work of the family of Kahas, but Oyel Moyed in the tent of meeting, Kodesh HaKadoshim, they're going to work with the holiest of the holy. Kodesh HaKadoshim, HaMekudesh V'kulim, the holiest, the supreme holiness, which is, their job is going to be with the Aron, the Shulchan, Menorah, the Ark, the table, and the Menorah. HaMizbach is the altar, it's Parechas, and the curtain that separates the holy and the holy of holies, the Klisharis, and the items that are used in the holy temple. The process is going to be as follows. Aaron and his sons will come. When it's time to travel, they will then take down the partition which is between the holy and the holy of holies. With this partition, they will then cover the tent of the ark of the testimony. Rashi, only Aaron and his sons are the ones that are going to put the things in the proper places. Meaning this job is going to give to the Kohen, because the Levi was not allowed to enter the Holy Temple. The only thing the Levites are going to do is carry it. The ones that are going to cover it and put everything in the proper lids is going to be the Kohanim. When the cloud starts to ascend, mistalik, they'll know that it's time to travel. Over here it tells us they'll cover the tent, the actual ark, which means that they'll take the curtain and they will push the curtain over the ark. Verse 6, and on top of that covering they'll put the tachar skin, and then they're going to spread a pure turquoise cloth bag on top of it, on it, and make sure they must put the poles in place. Verse 7, and on the table, they're going to yifresu beget chelis. They're also going to put on this turquoise cloth bag first. They'll put on it as well the forms, the spoons, the samanakiyos, and the supports, and all the cleaning items, and the covering canes. So too the bread must also stay on it even while traveling. Rashi, Kodis Kapis Ksosis Maniakis, Pirash Melachas Mishkan, he's not going into detail to tell us what these things are, because he told it already us in the book of Exodus. Hanesach, Hakisui Loshin Masach, the cover, which is they also use Nesach, that they use to cover it as well. Verse 8, Porsu Aleim, Begetil Ashani, and on top of it they will then spread a turquoise cloth. Then they'll cover that with a tachar skin, the samu espadav, and make sure to put its poles in place as well. Verse 9. Then they'll take a turquoise bag and cover a turquoise cloth bag and cover the menorah. And they'll cover the illuminating menorah, and its candles, and its lamps, and its tongues, Ves bachtiseh, and its scoops, ves kol klei shamna, and all its oil vessels, asher yishar sulam behem, that is used for performing the service. Malkachel, Rashi translates in this case, kamin tzavas, like a tongue, shemaishach was a psila that is able to pull the wick to make sure l'chol tzachir, so that it's in the direction that he needs it to be. Machtisa, kamin kaf ktana, like a small spoon, v'shula pshutim, it was flat, v'lois galgalim, it was not round like the spoons we know of, v'elam mechitza lefanel, it did not have walls, elam tzida, only on the side, and it was used as a scoop to be able, v'chaitzas adash, and he was able to take the ash with this, kishamativim, when he cleaned it. Neresa, that's the lamps. Lusish, that you put the oil and the wicks in it. Verse 10. Verse 10. And they will take it and all its vessels, and cover it with a tachash skin, and they'll put it on a stick. It was like a big bag that was inserted, that they would put it in, and that would hold all the things that were in it and covered it from all the sides. Verse 11. And on top of the golden altar, they would also put a cloth of turquoise skin, and then they will cover it with a tachash skin. Some were spadav, and they'll put the poles in it as well. Verse 12. They will remove from it all they must take all the utensils with it, that are used for holiness. They'll put it into this bag, this turquoise bag. They will cover it then with the tachash skin over it. And they'll put it on the pole. Rashi 12. As kol klei hashadar says sham v'kadosh, b'seich hamishkan shu kadosh. That means anything that was used in the tabernacle was then considered holy. Hein klei hakodesh. This is referring to the vessels of the incense. Shemasharsim b'mizbeach hapnimi, which was used for the inner altar, like the spoon, the shovel, and all the things that were used for the incense. Verse 13. V'dishnus hamizbeach. Now we come to the outside altar. The first thing they have to do is remove all the ashes from the altar. Then ufarsul of beged argaman, and they'll spread on it a purple wool cloth bag over it. Rashi 13, V'dishnos ha-mizbeach, mizbeach and achoshes were referring to the copper altar, the outside one. V'dishnoi, yitlos adeshem yelav, remove all the ashes from it. Parcel of beged agaman, v'eish yardim and hashemayim. Wasn't there a fire that came from heaven, which was always on it? Revutza tachas ha-beged, would continue to light and continue to ignite and be there, even under the garment. Kari b'shas ha-masoyis, it was there, it would look like a lion, even while they were traveling. V'eina seirafte, and it would not burn, consume the garment, the cover. She'yekeifen of psachter shel necheshes. They would first put a big pot of copper on top of it, and on top of that, they would put this garment, this purple-looking, the scarlet-colored garment. Verse 14, they will then place all the utensils that was used when they would work with the outside altars. What were the utensils? Asamachtais, the shovels, asamizlikais, the pitchforks, the vesayoim, and the basins, vesamizrakais, and the scoops, and the things that they were used to sprinkle the blood. All the vessels of the altar. First of all, then they would put on it a tachash skin covering, and then they set the poles in place for them to carry it. Machtais, what are machtais? Rashi says, they use that to shovel the coals. When they would have to clean off the altar. It was made like a shovel. It only had 3 walls around it. There was no wall in front of it. It was like slanty, as we would call it, a shovel, to be able to wipe things off. Mizlages, they were long poles of copper. They would use it like pitchforks to be able to carry to get the meat that was on the altar. To turn them over, so they should get burnt very well and quickly. Yoim, him magrefus, they were like also different kinds of. They were scoops and forks and shovels, all different kinds of things. And in this case, this was another type of shovel. Was made up of copper. This was like used as a broom to clean off the ashes from the altar. Verse 15. And when Aaron and his sons was finished to cover all the holy vessels, and all the holy vessels that were there, when it was time to travel, then the family of Kahas came along, to carry it for the they should not touch something which is sacred for Mesu, because that can cause them to die. Eila Masa B'nei Kahas, these are the travels. This was the burden of the people of Kahas, of the family of Kahas, Ba'il Moed, in the tabernacle in the tent of meeting. L'chasis is HaKodesh, to cover the holy, we're referring to Ha'arin, the ark, V'hamizbeach, and the altar. Klei HaKodesh, when we talk about vessels that were used for holiness, Menorah, Klei Shadash, that's the menorah and its utensils. V'meis, when they would die, Shem Yigu, because if God forbid they would touch it, Chayav Misa B'dei Shemayim, this would mean liable of the death penalty in the hands of heaven. 16, Pekudas Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, and the charge of Elazar, the Aaron the priest. Shem and Amoyer, he was in charge of making sure to carry the oil for lighting, Ketedus Asamim, the incense, Minchas Atamin, and the daily meal offering. For Shem and Amishkan, the anointing oil, Pekudas Kol Amishkan V'chal HaShabbai B'Kedesh Ke'elav. He was in charge of the entire tabernacle, anything that was in it, from the holy things, and all the furnishings that came together with it. Pekudas Elazar, Shehum Emunah Aleim L'asei Seisam, he was in charge to carry it. Which was Shemen Uktedus, the oil and the incense, for Shemen and Mishcha, the anointing oil, Minchas Satamid, the meal offering, all of Mutal L'Tzavis and L'Zaris L'Hakir Beis Chaniyasan. He was the one that had to take charge of it, because when it came time to rest as well, when it came time to settle, they had to make sure that these things were there and ready to get going as soon as possible. And therefore, he was the one that would always carry it, and he should always remember where it is and how to do it when they're carrying it. Pekudas Kol HaMishkan. V'oid, not only was he in charge of those specific items, he also was responsible. He was responsible to tell the people of Kahas, to each person, what they had to carry, what they had to do, and what their responsibilities were. As the verse finishes, the tabernacle and everything that was in it, everything that's mentioned of that the family of Kahas had to do. However, all the things that we talk about in next week's Torah reading, that the other two families of the Levites had to carry, which was the pillars and all the other stuff, that was not under Elazar. That was responsible of Isamar, the other son of Aaron. Verse 17. And God spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, do not let the tribe of the family of Kahas be eliminated from amongst the Levites. What does this mean? Make sure, be conscious of what they're doing, and warn them that they do it properly so they should not die, God forbid. Verse 19. How are you going to make sure? This is what they got to do, and they'll stay alive. They will not die. Because they are the ones that are approaching the Holy of Holies. Aaron and the sons should be the ones to come first. The some way, and they'll put on all the different things as we mentioned previously and cover it. Each person according to his job, and to his load. Verse 20. And therefore the Kahas family must be careful. They must not come in to see when it is holy, meaning before it's been wrapped up or while it's being wrapped up. Kibalos HaKodesh, while they're wrapping up the holy things, because then they will come to die. Meaning, they should not come, they should not be the ones to be there while it's being wrapped and put into their bags, because, first we'll beg it plain, because as it says that they have to put it in these garments, the word absorbed in it means that they cover it, they put it in the bag, because if they would see it, because if they would be there, they might come to touch it, and if they come to touch it, this would be terrible for them. This concludes the Torah reading of Parshas Bamidbar.